Hello everybody, this is me, Professor Janssen from your online history course. I thought I'd check in with you now that week 1 is over and talk about some of the things that may have happened to you in this first week. First of all, there are all the deadlines, most of which you made, some of which you may have missed. So let's go through this to make sure that everyone understands this. The lessons, and you have 3 every week. You can complete this anytime. They cannot be closed. So if you have missed lessons 1 to 3, you can write them and complete them anytime. In order to do that, make sure that you click the lesson, and then every time you read something, scroll all the way down to the bottom, because that is where the button leads you to the next page, and at the very end is the page where you can write your answer. When you write your lesson answer, think about the question and really think hard about it and make sure that you answer substantively to that question. You do not need to write a long paragraph, but you do need to provide some substance. In essence, think about it as proof of your learning. Can I see in your answer that you made an effort to pay attention to the lesson? If I can see that in your answer, then sometimes 3 lines of text are perfectly fine, or a list is perfectly fine. But if you write a long paragraph where there's nothing specific that tells me that you actually paid attention to the lesson, then that's not good enough. So make sure that your lessons contain substance that tell me about your learning. Okay? So that to the lessons. The document quizzes. Again, remember, you need to read these documents and then understand them in the context of the chapters in which they appear. So there is quite a bit of work to do before you should ever click the document quiz button. Once you have done quiz 1, then you can view the video in which I explain the thinking that goes behind these questions in these document quizzes. That is probably the hardest of all these assignments. The most labor-intensive one is the inquisitive assignment. For that, remember, you need to have a textbook and the access code. Do not go directly through www Norton, but instead use the link that I provide on the Titanium course site. And that way you can register and complete these assignments. Now these end and close at the end of every week. But for week 1, if you email me that you missed them, I will reopen them for you. So remember, let me know that you missed the deadlines for inquisitives 1 to 3, and I will reopen them for you. The other assignment, the last assignment, is the writing assignment that you had to complete for week 1. Now this one will remain closed for the time being, but I will reopen it for the last week of the course, along with the document quizzes. If you missed the document quizzes, I will also reopen those so you have a chance to catch up with missed grades. Now, the writing assignment seemed to pose a particular challenge for a lot of you. And the key challenge there was actually not necessarily the content, but reading through the instructions. I know that this can be a little lengthy to go through because I first tell you what you're learning, then I'm giving you an example, and then there's more. And some of you may lose patience and drop out and say, all right, I think I know what I'm going to do, and then you do something. But it turns out that you do need to read the instructions all the way to the end. Read it carefully. If you're unclear, read it twice. And then complete the assignment. When you complete the assignment, don't try to pull this out of a hat. Don't sort of spontaneously try to come up with an answer. Actually, do go back to your readings. Think about what you learned in the inquisitive activities. How can this apply to your writing assignment? For those of you who understood and read the question to the very end, often I found that there was not a very strong effort to actually apply the things you learned in your chapter readings and in your inquisitive to this writing assignment. So in week 2, when you do a discussion board assignment, make sure that you think about what you read and what you learned. And the next time you have a writing assignment, which I think will be in week 3, make sure that you really apply your readings. So that's what I think you all need to know. If you feel frustrated and disappointed with your grades so far, and there's a chance that you really didn't do all that well in your first 3 document quizzes, your first 3 inquisitive assignments, and your writing assignment, remember that all the assignments are really quite small, and that if you pick it up now, you can perfectly will assure a decent and maybe even a very good grade. So missing or screwing up 1 or 2 assignments or 3 is perfectly fine in this course because you are constantly completing assignments. Just make sure that you learn from your mistakes. Please read the feedback that I give you. I've made an effort to write feedback to almost every assignment for you. So make sure you look at that and think about it. If you find the grades harsh and you're frustrated, turn that into something productive for week 2 and make something better out of it, okay? So don't lose heart, don't be disappointed. If you did well, then carry on. And I will check in with you again at the end of week 2, okay? Thank you.